we welcome to the show Jason Noble from the Des Moines Register. He's here to talk about an interesting series of podcasts they do have available called 3 Tickets. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you.
All right, now explain what this 3 Tickets deal is all about.
Well, 3 Tickets is a new podcast from the Des Moines Register. It's all about the history and the culture of the Iowa caucuses.
All right, why 3 Tickets?
3 Tickets is, it's sort of been a saying going all the way back to, the late 70s, early 80s, that there are 3 tickets out of Iowa. If you place in the top 3 in the Iowa caucuses, you're going to remain viable further on to New Hampshire and beyond in the presidential nominating process.
Now, why a podcast from the Des Moines Register? I know you guys are always trying to be innovative and keep things very strong and alive in today's modern technology, but why a podcast? Why does that interest you?
A podcast is a great way to tell a story and to tell kind of a more longer form narrative type story. I really want to kind of bring alive the history of the caucuses, bring in great voices, people who have experienced the caucus in a really personal way, and just let them tell their story. And that takes a little more time, and you get the emotion of it in someone's voice. And so I sat down with almost 3 dozen people and hour, 2 hours talking with them about their experiences, and we bring that right into people's ears with a podcast. And it's a great way to listen to storytelling like that. You can do it while you're driving to work, while you're walking the dog. I think it's a really great format for what we're trying to do.
How long are the podcasts?
They range from about 35 to 45 minutes.
Oh, that's not bad. That's a commute to home and back.
Yeah.
I think people like I'm in my mid-40s, and you think the Iowa caucus it's been around your whole life, but the history only goes back to the early 70s.
That's right. Yeah, the first kind of truly competitive caucus that was waged sort of in the way that we know it now was 1976. And obviously that's when Jimmy Carter surprised the whole country by placing second here and sort of launched himself all the way to the White House.
And so that's really what launched the caucus.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's going to be on tomorrow night.
Yeah, that's right. The second episode launches tomorrow, and it goes back and sort of tells that origin story of the caucuses, how they arose. It was really from the 1968 Democratic Convention, which, there were riots in the streets.
Chicago.
It was a really tough time. That caused the parties to reevaluate kind of the way they nominate presidents and led ultimately to 76 and Jimmy Carter using Iowa as a launching point. And so we tell that story. We've got David Yepsen, the former Des Moines Register columnist, on there. I talked to Michael Morrow, who your audience might know as the former Iowa Secretary of State. He was Jimmy Carter's driver in 1970.
I didn't know they had people specified just to drive.
Well, Jimmy Carter came into town and said, hey, I want to talk to a group of Democrats. I want to check out the Iowa State Fair. I need someone to drive me around. And Michael Morrow was that guy.
Really?
Yeah.
That's kind of neat.
So is this about the history of the caucuses leading up to today's time? Is this to get us interested so that we're more involved with the caucuses when they come around here very quickly? Like, what's this for except for entertainment?
Well, I think it's a... this is really important history. This is American history that happens here in Iowa every 4 years. We have this incredible role in picking the president, and that story has been told in books, and we tell it every 4 years in the daily newspaper. But this is a new way to introduce people to that and just share these great stories. I talk to people all across the state who are, pretty average people who have become literally close personal friends with Joe Biden or the Bush family, and it's important that we preserve that and that people, kind of the posterity has those stories recorded.
So you guys are going to be releasing a podcast every week?
That's right.
Okay, and it started last week.
That's right.
What was last week's episode? Last
week was sort of introducing the series, and then it was telling the story of what I call Peak Caucus, which was the 2008 race, the Democratic race, where 240,000 people showed up. It was almost double the previous turnout record, and it was, I don't know if any caucus campaign will match that in terms of intensity and engagement. It was a really close race between Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, and John Edwards. Barack Obama surprised everyone by winning the caucuses, really legitimized himself as a candidate, and 7 years later, he's our president.
As someone who undertook this, you have to be a political junkie, and as a junkie, you'd have a good background. But were there any surprises, without giving away the store, that you found out about as you researched this?
Absolutely. I don't think you realize just the incredible wealth of experience with national politics and relationships built with presidential candidates that we have here in Iowa. If you go to a political event, you may be standing next to someone who was involved in a winning presidential campaign from 20 years ago, or something. Someone who's been invited to the White House 3 times. You know, Iowans are so unassuming and modest that they don't really talk about this stuff. But there are people here who have had amazing experiences, and I was lucky to meet some of those people and tell those stories.
Now, you guys are doing something pretty cool. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, if we want to check this out, do we need to have a Des Moines Register subscription, or how do we listen to this?
It's available on our website, DesMoinesRegister.com/3tickets. You can also subscribe and get it downloaded automatically to your phone through iTunes and Stitcher. So those are the best ways to get it. But yeah, you can go to our website and just stream it right off your homepage.
All right, tell us about your trivia contest you have coming up.
Yeah, that's right. On October 26th, we are going to have kind of the kickoff event trivia contest of the Des Moines Social Club. It's at 5 o'clock, I think, on... Yeah, there you go, at the basement of the Social Club. We do ask that you RSVP. You can the way to do that is on DesMoinesRegister.com/3tickets. But I'll be emceeing a trivia event. And drawing questions from the podcast, but also just kind of general caucus history.
Cameraman Tom, that's right up your alley, right there, trivia guy.
Perfect. Wonderful. Well, thank you for coming in.
Hey, thank you guys.
Thanks a lot.
9 minutes before 8 o'clock right now, and again, check it out. 3 tickets, 10-episode podcast. They release one per week. The second one going to be released tomorrow.